Hi, this is Asim.
This is Sujoy.
This is Amrita.
And you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast about the three main Khans of the Hindi film industry.
Aamir,
Salman,
And Shahrukh.
Hi, you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast regular feed. Thank you so much for your support over the years. We now have a Patreon channel with bonus content and exclusive merch for those of you who would like to support us. Every dollar goes towards creating more and better content. Visit us at patreon.com/Khandaan podcast.
Hi and welcome to a new episode of Khandaan Podcast. My name is Asim Bernie and I am here with my co-host Amrita and Sujoy. Hey Amrita, hey Sujoy.
Hey.
Hello and welcome back to Sujoy.
Thank you, Amrita.
How was America, man? You were on an American trip. Did you bring us back any freedom?
No, they all have it, and they didn't allow me to get it in through the what they call it, the TSA.
They don't share, right? They don't want to share their freedom. They just want to shake it in front of our faces and not give us any.
Yeah.
Add that to
Hamara
the
freedom
list.
sirf hamara hai.
No, add that to the list of things the UK doesn't have, I guess.
Like eggs and freedom.
Yeah.
So how was it, man? How was it? How was seeing?
New York was funny because it was warmer for some reason than London. Apparently, London had a huge cold wave and snow and everything. But then it got really rainy in New York, and I was mostly there to just eat my way through it and meet some friends and do some street photography. But it got really cold. Sorry, go ahead.
I cannot tell how funny it is. So I made a joke to Sujoy that he should get a chopped cheese. A chopped cheese sandwich is basically your Delhi sandwich. And for some reason, YouTube has been having a moment over the last year where everybody was just like, "Oh my god, chopped cheese." So I was like, Sujoy, you should go get the chopped cheese sandwich. And then Sujoy, what happened?
I had it 3 days in a row.
This is the hold Amrita has on us. She just says something and we just do it.
It's so addictive, man. It's just simple minced beef with salad and then some really unhealthy condiments added to it. I don't know what the special mix is, but each deli does its own. And I everywhere you go across New York, there's delis everywhere and they all do it. And it's apparently, a New York thing, a very, very New York thing. So you'd have options like Philly steak sandwich or a Texas with a special or whatever, and then there's chopped beef. Some call it chopped beef, some call it chopped cheese. Take your pick. And they have different bread sizes. There's a hero, a roll, or a bun, whatever they call it. And it was amazing. I really, really liked it. The moment I had chopped cheese, I wondered why does Burger King and McDonald's exist in New York? It was amazing.
Well, the thing is, people don't usually go to Burger King or McDonald's and stuff because they have the bodega and they'll just go there and they'll have the chopped cheese.
So it's just like keema pao, basically?
Yeah, it's pretty much keema pao, but with added unhealthiness.
It's Angrezon ka keema pao. And it's good. I had no knock to the chopped cheese. I lived on that stuff as a broke college student. It's just really funny to me that now it's a gourmet item out in Manhattan. People are just oh my god, I need to go get a chopped cheese.
And you did Orlando too?
Yeah, because it got really cold. So I took a quick trip to Orlando for 3 days and did 2 days in Disney. It was amazing. I visited the Galaxy's Edge, which is the new Star Wars theme park within Hollywood Studios in one of the Disney World parks. It's amazing. They've recreated some of the Empire or the First Order base camp, and there were tons of fake stormtroopers. It looked really epic. I did one of the rides in Animal Kingdom called Flight of the Avatar, which is amazing. It's wall-to-wall 3D. You ride on a banshee and it almost simulates the experience of riding a dragon. It's like it's got me excited about Avatar 2. And that's probably one of my favorite rides. I really had a blast at Disney, to be honest.
Nice. Sounds good, man. I was the
Yeah.
only part I was jealous is when you were in that Star Wars ride. That I was like, oh, I wish I could see that. That looked really.
Oh man, I could not believe. So I'm almost 40 next year, right? And like I consider myself to be a bit of a cynic. I'm not a big Star Wars fan over the years because of what happened with the latest trilogy and all of that cynical things. But the moment I walked into that Millennium Falcon, whatever the smugglers run, I had tears in my eyes, man.
Yeah.
I could not believe like it was something else. It's just all the memories of the original trilogy and Carrie Fisher and Han Solo and Chewie. And they were like little kids, just Chewie roaming around the park, and the little kids just runs and hugs him. It was so magical, man. Through all those capitalism and consumerism, all just fades away in the background when that happens. It was amazing.
It's like even like when the first time when the Force Awakens, when they step out of the the Millennium Falcon shows up, or Han shows up, it got to me. I remember that feeling really well. And I'm not like a Star Wars head at all, but something about those movies and the music and the age you were, it just hits you, right?
Yeah. Chewie, we are home.
Still gets to me. Okay. Let's get into our show. Ho gaya America aaj ke liye. You've lived your wild times now.
Let's go back to UP.
Let's talk about a few of the songs and clips that came out. I think let's get into Besharam Rang, right? That's the first thing we want to talk about, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess everybody's seen the clip 50 times already.
Yeah. The song lives in my playlist right now. I had it on my when I was waiting for the plane. I was listening to it all night long.
Actually, it's interesting, right? Like, because there's a whole the song dropped and Twitter went on fire, basically, right? It was all anybody could talk about. My Desi side was talking about Besharam Rang, and the white side was talking about the White Lotus finale, and both things was like intense. But anyway, we're talking about Besharam Rang. But it's interesting because everybody on Twitter talks about the visuals, and it is different when you detach yourself from the visuals and just listen to the song. Like I was listening it to the car and like blasting it, and it is like funny how the visuals can dominate the conversation, right? And nobody's really talking that much about the song anymore. Amrita, what did you think of Besharam Rang?
Yeah, I think it's a shame that people aren't paying more attention to the song, because I think it's a real bop and it grows on you. It's one of those songs, where I think a lot of people went into the song expecting something more like Ghungru. They thought it was going to be a party song, etc. And then suddenly they just got hit by this, this double whammy of like Deepika in this really sexy avatar, and then the song that has like it's really mellow, right? Like it's a sort of like lounge music rather than like a hardcore party club song. So I think like that threw people off, and also the choreography is kind of unfortunate. Like I've seen a lot of people say ridiculous things about like, oh my god, this is sleazy, and oh my god, like Deepika isn't very good at hot songs or like being hot, and I'm just like, you people are ridiculous. But I do think that this is very like TikTok choreography. It's definitely like choreographed for that particular crowd, which is why it's so divisive, I think. But the song itself is great, and like, my god, like pretty people on the screen again being like sexy and making eyes at each other. Heck yeah. Like
Bollywood is back, baby. Boobs and butts.
And Shahrukh Khan's CGI face.
What did you think, Sujay?
I f***ing love it. I really enjoyed it.
This is like our chopped cheese, right?
All the cheese has been chopped and all that remains is lean meat. I really enjoy the track. There have been accusations about it being copied from a French track or whatever. I haven't listened to the original, so I don't know. Then there's like what Amrita said about it being a follow up to Ghungru, which it is in some sense, because Vishal Shekhar did like to Ghungru Toot Gaye from Pankaj Udhas, and that one sort of bring back that lyrics. And here it's Hame to loot liya milke husn walon ne in this. And I asked this question: what Qawwali lyrics is Vishal Shekhar going to bring up in the next follow up YRF spy movie, which will probably be the Tiger movie, I suppose. But yeah, it's a fun visual to look at, and I think Shahrukh cannot dance like Hrithik, so he's doing Latin dance with Deepika, which makes sense. It's all fun and games, and I really like the song. I have been listening on it on repeat, and to have what's her name, Shilpa Rao, sing it. Oh my god, I love her voice.
She's the best.
Love her voice. Yeah.
I think literally she's one of my favorite singers at the moment. Like I don't like, and like also just she has such a specific sound to her voice, but also the song she picks. I don't think anybody's standing out as much as she does. I love this song. I mean, this is like catnip for us, right? This is like Bollywood, what it needs to be. A few notes that I did have. How cool, like in a movie of Pathan, about Shahrukh. This is going to be like a spy thriller. The whole song is sung by Deepika's character, by Shilpa Rao, and that is something that almost doesn't happen, right? Like that it's a whole woman-centric song. So that's really cool. I think...
and Shahrukh is like very politely doing his adab.
Adab, dur se adab, like Sharif adab, I love that. I love whatever steroid program Shahrukh went on. It works really well. It's like, it's like, I was like, it took my breath away to say 57-year-old guy like that ripped is amazing. I mean, speaking from a bodybuilding aesthetic point of view, I don't know about, like if this is hot or if it's not hot, I don't know. But like, dude, 57, looking like that, amazing.
The funniest thing was like a lot of people were comparing the fact that Shahrukh is now either the same age or maybe even slightly older than Amitabh was when he did Mohabbatein.
Yeah.
And people are just like, what kind of witchcraft?
Yeah.
Anushka, whatever.
I think.
Pratishtha Anushashan.
So joyful Bengali came out.
Sorry.
But I think it looks great. But I do not like in the second half of the song where he starts to lean into this Johnny Depp look that he has. I did not like that hat. It was really annoying the crap out of me. But apparently this whole song is like a subliminal message about Muslim men raping Indian women, right?
No,
Really?
It's apparently a subliminal message telling Indian women that Muslim men are hot.
Hot,
which is
right?
Like way worse, apparently.
I mean, is it subliminal if you've listened to Khandaan podcast? I'm right here,
Oh my god.
So
ridiculous.
There's apparently been a BJP minister objecting to Deepika wearing a bikini in the song because why not?
Yeah. But I think, what it is, and I think I wanted to pick up on a point that Amrita, you were saying about Deepika being hot or sexy, right? And I think these guys, like Shahrukh and Deepika, have done 3 or 4 movies together, right? This is the first time where you can assume that the characters that they're playing are actually banging. Like none of the ones before, like especially if you go back to,
Chennai Express?
No, Om Shanti Om, which is like the most chaste love story you can have. Like, he's just like looking at her from afar. But here, clearly, like legs are in the air, abs are against, boobs, everything is happening. Champagne is splooging all over the screen. Like the visuals are telling us, these people are banging. And I think that makes people uncomfortable. Like they're not used to this, and I applaud it. I think this is amazing, and not every song should be watched or danced to by your 6-year-old daughter or son. Like it's not all family entertainment, and I'm fine with that. So I think that's one of the problems. But regarding the sexy and hot bit, Amrita, unbelievable. Deepika is unbelievably hot, clearly, right? But she is too perfect, I feel. I think being sexy needs like a level of imperfection and a little like dirtiness. And I don't think Deepika has that. She's just too perfect, I feel. So I think that's something maybe people are picking on and they're not able to formulate it as well as I am.
There's no winning for Deepika. I have a perfect hobby, not too perfect for me.
Yeah, no, she's just perfect, man. There's like literally nothing you can criticize. Like it's like, yeah, I think it annoys people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love the camera work. Choreography, I don't know. It does look like some of the moves is like Katrina would pull those off better, no? Like they're like just like a lot of like, yoga kind of moves she's doing. There is a cat pose in there, right? For sure.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, the camera movement is amazing where they're dancing together and the camera just goes 360 around them. I think that is done really, really well. I like this song. I'm really excited for Pathaan more and more.
What I don't like is how the song ends when it goes to a crescendo and goes to the next octave or whatever. They change the pitch in the the finale of the song. I don't know. I'm a bit cold about how the song ends.
But I love that there's like a dirty bass in it that they put in. It's like really, really deep, and I thought that was amazing. Like I could really hear it in my car. I couldn't hear it on my laptop or however else I was watching it. But in the car, I could really blast it, and it's really deep and dirty and sexy. I thought it was a great composition, and maybe it is harkening back to an older era where people would rip off songs. Like because. We might. You're mentioning that this is maybe copied, but even there, what was that song? Nashe de chad gayi, nashe pe chad gayi, whatever. That was also ripped off from a Korean song. So Vishal Shekhar do copy songs, So it might be that there's some, harkening back to an older era. But that's just classic Bollywood. I feel let's bring it back. Let's rip off some songs, Let's rip off some clothes and rip off some songs. Yeah, this was good. And it's like the total antithesis of Current Lagare, the other Deepika song that dropped, which...
Oh my God, no.
I don't even know. I don't think we even need to talk about because it's so bad.
Yeah, it's like... okay, we get it. You can do it, Ranveer, but enough.
Should you? You can do it, but should you, Ranveer? Yeah.
It's like the what I tweeted about Cocaine Bear to be a Ranveer Singh biography. It's pretty much that Cocaine Bear the song.
Yeah. But I do like that, Deepika is kind of coming into back, the zone that, Sunny Leone and Nora Fatehi and Jacqueline Fernandez have been dominating. I'm liking that she's back. Amrita, some news dropped about Nora and Jackie, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Things are like, how much I love mess.
Yeah, I love
mess. So Nora is apparently suing Jacqueline because so Jacqueline has been in legal trouble for the past year, right? Because she was dating this guy who was living large, and then it turned out like he's married, he's a con man. He was like threatening people and like getting money from them and stuff. And with that money, he was buying her cars. He bought her a kitty cat. He bought her like all kinds of weird shit. And so now, because they arrested him for, I don't know, like a long list of things, I think. And she's like a material witness, and they're kind of thinking whether she is also part of his scam, whether like he, like she knew about his illegal activities, etc. But apparently he was also making moves on like a whole bunch of other people, amongst whom was Nora Fatehi, and he apparently got her something, but then she returned it or something like that. But when the police were doing their investigation, I don't think it was the police, I think it was like the ED or something. Like they were just doing a investigation into the roles of these different actresses. Jacqueline went to the press and was just like, oh my God, like Nora's getting special treatment and I don't know why. She and I are in the same boat, but like somehow like she gets treated so much better by the media and by the police. And so she's been saying this for a while now, and now Nora basically came out like guns ablaze. And she was just like, well, I'm suing everybody. Like, I'm suing Jacqueline. I'm suing all her favorite news outlets that have been carrying all her slander. And I'm going to sue her for defamation. So, yeah, Jacqueline's in a bit of a soup.
Because Nora got that T-Series money, you know? Like,
Yeah.
she can sue.
Yeah.
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 It's interesting. I think they should just like, you know, fight it out in a dance-off battle. I think that's how we need to sort this out, you know? Just get like, you know, a nachi kind of situation going, and like let's battle it out. And that's the best way. I think I should be the judge of this, you know? I should make this.
I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
It should be you.
Who are you, Sujoy? Are you Team Nora or are you Team Jackie here?
I deny to comment on this. I plead the fifth.
What do you think is going to happen, Amrita, with this whole situation? You think it's going to die out and they're going to find like a resolution, or you think somebody's going down here?
I think Jackie is actually in trouble over.
I think so too. So too.
Not particularly over Nora, but I think like over the other stuff, she's in trouble.
Yeah.
So this is just really. It's a bit like kicking somebody when they're down, but then I also understand Nora's position. I mean, why would you want to just take this lying down? Because Nora doesn't want any of that stink on her, you know?
Yeah.
So I get it. I get why she's doing it, but it's just really sad for Jackie.
I mean, like, not even sure Jackie Fernandez did anything. You know, I think she's just going to get, you know, Bali ki Bakri kind of situation where she just gets, you know, slaughtered for no reason and for PR and hits and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think she might be going down on this one. Like, it might be like a terrible, terrible situation. I think she just, you know, like, immigrate, you know, go back, you know, like leave the country or something like that, you know. I think it looks kind of bad for her, unfortunately.
यार बड़ी मुश्किलों से पंजाब को आतंकवाद की इस काली आंधी से निकाल के लाए थे, पर अब इसे नशे के सफेद बादलों ने घेर लिया.
Let's move on. I watched Cat.
What is Cat?
Amrita, you have said exactly what all of the world is saying. What is Cat? Cat is the new show on Netflix with Randeep Hooda, and I watched the first 2 episodes. And guys, it's really good. I don't know why people are not talking about this show, why nobody's watching it, nobody's interested in it. It's really, really good. It's kind of like Departed meets Urta Punjab, that kind of thing. It's set in Punjab, and it's talking about, you know, the drug problems that are going out there. And Randeep Hooda's character is somebody who, back in the 80s or in the 90s, he worked with the police to infiltrate a terrorist gang in Punjab, separatists basically. And he was named the Cat. That was his secret identity. And he did that. That operation was over. 20 years later, now Punjab has a drugs problem, and the same police officer asks him to now infiltrate these drugs gangs because Randeep Hooda's brother got involved with drugs, and it's kind of that he's basically trying to infiltrate the gang, and it's only 8 episodes long. At least the first season is. I've not seen how it ends, and it's really, really taut and tense, and that's what needs to happen in these like infiltration kind of shows, right? Every episode needs to you want to watch the next episode to see where they're ended or what kind of intrigue they're in, and the tension constantly ramps up. And it's really, really well done. I'm kind of sad this is going to be forgotten. Nobody's going to be talking about it, and that might even make it that it doesn't get renewed for a second season. But I think we all like Randeep Hooda, right? Like he's like, we root for him and things to be okay for him, or is there like something bad about him that I don't know?
I don't know. I haven't seen his work in a very long time. I think the last time I saw him was in Highway. I don't think I have watched any of his OTT shows or other productions. So if you are recommending it, I will definitely check it out, at least a couple of episodes, and see how it gels with me.
Yeah, I think like I just recommend. I told when we were recording it, I was like, I'll watch one episode, but I immediately wanted to watch 2-3 episodes, and
nice.
that rarely happens to me. You know, that I'm like, wow. So, and they're really nicely paced, the episodes. They've really worked on it. You can feel it, because a lot of times a show is too long or it's too short. You know, like it's 30 minutes or an hour, and this is like 40 minutes exactly, and it kind of breezes through. It's really, really good. But Amrita, does that sound appealing at all to you, or not really?
Yes, it does, but I don't know if this was the right time of year to release something like this. I don't know. It sounds like more of a January, February kind of show, but
yeah. I don't think they also did a good job at promoting it or anything like that, and I think a lot of people just don't know about it. So that's why I wanted to shout it out. But that's Cat, C-A-T, Cat, on Netflix.
C-A-T, Cat Mane Billy.
Exactly, that's what I was like, man, it's like episode 163 and I'm spelling cat. Like, this is where we're at. Okay, let's get into our main review.
नाम है हमारा योगेंद्र कुमार देवेंद्रनाथ प्रजापति उर्फ योगी।
You need action, woman. फिर से वर्जिन बन गई तो क्या? I'm telling you, दरवाजा बंद हो जाता है। फंस गई, shit.
Yeah.
So this was our main review of this episode is Qarib Singlle. Sujoy, I pronounced it correctly.
Excellent.
Talia. And this was a pick from our Patreon. This was a pick from Blandine from Brooklyn. She sent us a little audio clip too about why she picked this movie. I'm going to try to play it now. Okay. If the clip doesn't work, I'll read out what she said. So Blandine says, "Hi, I'm Blandine from Brooklyn. I picked Qarib Singlle because I adore Irfan Khan's acting and looks. It's another opportunity to see him in a romantic role after Lunchbox." Yes, this is a movie that it went away. Like, I mean, it wasn't on my radar at all. I wouldn't be, even in my top Irfan Khan movies, it wouldn't be, one that would come up necessarily. Have you guys seen this movie before, or
I watched it at the cinema when it came out.
Oh, you did?
That.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. What about you, Amrita?
No, I meant to, but then I never actually made it around to watching it at the time, I think.
Okay. So, what did you think of Qarib Singlle?
I don't know. Like,
I think the word you're searching for is very mid.
Yes. That's basically the problem with it. Like, everything about it should be, like, really great because, like, I like the people who are in it.
Yeah.
The concept is interesting. Like, I think on paper, this should have worked really well for me. But honestly, like, it just lacked a certain kind of spark.
Yeah.
And also, I was immediately taken out of it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a millennial. I was taken out of it immediately when I saw the budget app that she was using, which I guess they invented for the movie because they couldn't use a real life app. But
you mean the dating app?
Yes.
Okay.
It just made me laugh immediately. And also, like, yeah, it was just like everything about it was just kind of weird. Like, it just seemed like a lot of play acting rather than like looking at the story of somebody. Like, if you compare it to something like, say, Piku, for example, like, Piku felt really organic. You believed who these people were. Like, obviously it was Amitabh Bachchan and Deepika Padukone, but you also really believed in their dynamic and like their little heartbreaks, and like you really connected to the kinds of issues the two of them had with each other. Like when Deepika said to Irfan that like I'd never leave my father alone, like no matter what he's like, because he's my father. Like you really could connect to that. In this one, when like Nitya's like talking to Irfan about like various things, I just don't really.
Parvati.
Parvati is talking to Irfan about various things. I don't necessarily feel her. Like I'm just like, yeah, like she plays it as a rom-com, but I'm not really sure this is a rom-com. And also Irfan's character is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like in Piku, he was very much the romantic lead, like even though he and Deepika never so much as like discuss dating, you'd really want the two of them to land up together.
Yeah.
But here they're on a date, they're clearly like, moving towards coupledom, but I'm not really invested and I don't really buy him as a romantic lead. So it's a weird thing.
What does there is a disservice done to the movie in that they wanted to make it a shorter than a 2-hour movie, apparently, forced by the producers, and the finale of how they resolve the conflict of, she goes off to see Luke Kenny in Arunachal or Sikkim, and then she immediately realizes that she is in love. There is some sort of a plot missing there, where the realization of both of them that they want to be with each other, that has been completely edited out, and that I think there is a disconnect with how the story resolves in the finale, but also towards the beginning, because you are seeing these two characters and their sort of conflicts with the world and their outlook and perspective of the world, and it's played very comically rather than, I don't know, it played for the laughs, and the laughs aren't as good either.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even aware initially that this was directed by Tanuja Chandra. And do you guys remember end of the 90s when Tanuja Chandra started making movies? Like there was such an excitement for her as a filmmaker, no?
Yeah.
Like she had a Dushman and Sangharsh. Sangharsh is, Silence of the Lamb ripoff, but it was like a really strong performances, great songs, and Ashutosh Rana, like that image of him, right? Like it's still kind of like burned in our mind. And Dushman is a really good revenge kind of movie where they're centering Kajol as a character. I would say it's probably one of Kajol's better movies, like, her leading it.
Yeah.
And then she never really fulfilled that promise of those first two movies. And watching Qarib Singlle, I couldn't even believe, I can't see anything of that filmmaker the promise that I saw in those first two movies. For me, this movie is almost shot like a telefilm, like a teleplay. There's no visual flourishes, there's no money, the money spent on screen doesn't show. The writing is really weird. Like you guys mentioned Irfan, like I don't understand if he's supposed to be awkward, funny, charming, endearing. Like, who is this guy? Why is he rich or is he not rich? Is he scamming somebody? Or why is he dressed up like that? Why did he break up with these women? So the idea is that they meet up on a date, and then he wants to go visit his exes and she comes along, right? That's what the story is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then she has a hidden agenda that she wants to meet her ex from a long time ago in the end.
And I also feel like this movie is really tough on women. Like the way they show how tough your life is if you're a single woman, like you miss your postal deliveries, you have to eat alone, and the Bollywood trope is eating alone is the saddest thing somebody can do, you know. Like, I was honestly thinking we should make a montage of everybody eating sadly alone, you know. Like like we can have Geet and Jab We Met eating her sandwiches on the street, or we can have, you know, what was that song in Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna where they're eating noodles and being sad, you know. Like, it's hilarious. You don't know what to do with chipkalis in your house, you know, the bird shits on your car, like all of these things is like, Amrita, is this your life? Do you not know what to do when a chipkali comes into your house?
Yes, this is very true. I, sit there and cry every time I see a chipkali in my house, because I'm like, oh no, I'm a grown-ass woman, but I don't know what to do about these things. But yes.
Chipkali is a newt, right? In English, I think that's the translation.
It's a lizard.
Lizard.
Is it lizard? Okay. Also, just like in terms of production values, I feel the dubbing was off. The background score was really confusing. Like I couldn't understand like which beat they're going for, and I really had it. That was my main takeaway, because Irfan is great. Like seeing him again on, like you were talking about, you know, we were talking about the Millennium Falcon and all. I went back to watch some interviews that Irfan did back in the day with Faridun on Bollywood Hangama. And those are really lovely interviews. It's just great to see Irfan talking and, you know, being alive, you know, like that. Like, it was just like a good time. And I don't see any of that in the movie. I don't see that, the Irfanness of it. I just see confusion in it. I also don't think he's that romantic. I think that's what Brandine was kind of, you know, what she connected with in this. But I don't know. Did you guys feel this guy was really romantic, or like, you know, Parvati's
character very derivative of his previous roles? Like, you know, in Life in a Metro, he's the Mr. Know-It-All. It's kind of like that in a way. He's not arrogant, but also like wise in a way. But that's the vibe that I get from Irfan in any way. So he could have done this like in his sleep and it'd be fine. And it's pretty much like that. I don't think the writing helped any of it. It was just Irfan vibing throughout the movie.
Yeah, it was Irfan vibing. Like, I think there's one sequence where he just comes in and he takes her phone away in a like very Shahrukh kind of way. And then he's start talking about aam choose ke khana. It's just like weird vibes, you know, like what is like, it's like things are getting very sexual and then very also Shahrukh Khan-y, like pick a lane, right? Like pick a lane.
Who's a lane?
Choose a lane. And guys, I mean, you guys still go, like, you know, I think, I assume as the married guy, you guys still go on like dating apps and stuff like that. How, like, I know that there's a rule you have like 4 or 5 dates and then you can sleep with somebody, right? Like I don't know how many dates that is. I've been married for too long. But how many dates do you have to go on before you can stop calling him Mr. Yogi? Like, because the whole entirety of the 2 hours she's calling him Mr. Yogi, and I don't understand why.
If they do get married, she will definitely end up calling him Mr. Yogi even after that.
Yeah. Okay.
Did I answer your question?
I think you did.
I have a question though. Like, how many dates does it take for you to get comfortable with someone and you know, comfortable enough to travel with someone?
Exactly. That was like the bigger question. I was like, whoa, girl. And also because they're like so incompatible when it comes to like travel. And I know like that was supposed to be like one of the themes, that, you know, they're finally in one place at one time, rather than missing each other, etc. But I would literally like, I don't know, like that very first day I would have been like, bye, and then just gone home.
Leaving her to fly alone to Dehradun where she did not want to go in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's about, you know, Parvati's character having a very safe life and taking chances. And this is where, like, I think she wants to go skydiving or something like that. And maybe that's what the movie is trying to tell us, but it doesn't really explicitly tell us that that's what she's doing, right? Like, it's again, like, movie has really weird vibes. Like, the whole common trope of, her accidentally taking drugs. And then, I wonder, man, do writers in Bollywood get paid enough to afford drugs? Because they can't seem to write how drugs really work. Like,
I mean, there are cheaper herbal options in India.
yeah. And then they also have like an overtly awkward hostel receptionist like they had in Jab We Met.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie is weird because like the celebrity cameo in this movie is Neha Dhupia,
Yeah.
which
And Luke Kenny.
yeah, I
I'm
think
joking.
sorry.
Oh.
And Tara is the celebrity.
I really laughed that they got Isha Sharwani and then didn't give her any lines. Like she just showed up to dance and then she went away. That was hilarious.
Poor girl. I think that's like, indicative of her entire Bollywood career. Like it's been a rough ride for her, unfortunately. Yeah. Yeah, this was a weird one. I was happy to see Irfan back. I have not seen a Parvati movie, and I thought she was kind of good. Like as a screen presence, I don't think the writing or anything did much for her.
I really like Parvati. Like, if you see her in like any of the South Indian movies, like she's like really fun. I have like no issues whatsoever with her, but I don't know, everything together just didn't click in this one.
Yeah. I thought I had more of an understanding of who she was when I was watching those interviews with Faridun. Like the movie doesn't give me that enough of it, but I thought she was, quite pleasant. And I understand why you almost said Nithya Menon, because she does have kind of that similar vibe, at least in this one. But unfortunately, this didn't really work for me. And I think a lot of it has to do with the writing and the filmmaking and the production more than the performances.
Yeah. And at some point when they are in Himachal or somewhere after the the raft ride, in the night they sit by the fire and they are Irfan sings Bade Achhe Lagte Hain, and that clip has been doing the rounds on Instagram and TikTok everywhere. Everybody making tribute reels for Irfan, and that particular clip sung by Papon, which was originally sung by Amit Kumar. This time I realized that there's somebody in the background beatboxing to Bade Achhe Lagte Hain.
Yeah.
That's the vibe of this movie, because it's so confused about what it wants to be.
Yeah. That's like the first girlfriend, right? They have a wild water rafting ride, and then they immediately start beatboxing at a campfire. Like, again, weird vibes. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I think also 50% of the budget went to an Atif Aslam song at the end, which is just kind of shoehorned in there. It was surprising. I went back also to read reviews. Like, people were quite positive about this movie. Like, the reviews were really, really positive. But I don't know. It didn't connect with me at all. Like, I think maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. But yeah, anything else, Amrita, you want to say about Qarib Singlle?
Not really.
Sujay?
Well, they at some point in the movie, Parvati just looks into the camera while she's trying to make her profile, breaking the fourth wall. I don't know what that meant.
Yeah.
And then they just dropped it.
Yeah, they dropped it, right? Exactly.
That's what I was saying. Like, it just feels like a student project, this entire movie. Like, it feels, rather than like somebody who has like a couple of movies under her belt, it kind of felt like, I don't know, like somebody just made this for their senior thesis or something, and they were just sort of making it up as they went along.
Yeah.
And like the writer is Kamla Chandra, who's Tanuja's mom. She's the screenplay is written by Tanuja and Ghazal Daliwal, who's done other projects after that.
Kamla Chandra wrote, was it Lamhe or Chandni? Which one was it? One of the two. But basically, I think it was Chandni. But like
Chandni, 1942, Prem Rogue and everything.
Yeah. She's a very experienced screenwriter, so it's not like there was any talent lacking behind the camera.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, In any case, I did enjoy watching it, like just watching Irfan back on screen again. And thank you for recommending it, Blandine, to us. Blandine is a patron. So when you are a certain level of patron, you can pick a movie and we will rip it to shreds on the show, apparently. So unfortunately, sorry about that, Blandine. But
I mean, not all movies can be winners, right? Even if there's Irfan involved.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I'm glad we got to watch it, because otherwise I would never have watched this movie. And I'm always up to watch another Irfan movie, even the ones that I don't like as much.
Yeah. I have one more message that I wanted to read from Patreon before we wrap it up. This is much from Irfan, and he writes, the first thing I wanted to ask you all, if you would do something like Coffee with Karan rapid fire round or coffee shots with each other. I also wanted to know what your go-to movie is, like a movie you would watch any day, anytime, multiple times. Also, do you plan on doing a movie roundup of the year since it is coming to an end? And it's especially the last part I wanted to talk about, because we are going to be doing a best of episode. It's coming in the next few weeks, so we're kind of like watching a few movies that I at least am. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm watching all of the movies that I missed out on this year. I'm checking if we can still fit in Circus in there, but I have a guess that Circus would not be landing on my best of list anyway. But yeah, we got a lot of people on Patreon let us know, which were the worst movies that they watched and the best movies. So if you do have that, let us know. And the Coffee with Karan rapid find round sounds fun. We should do this, but we'll prepare for that. Amrita, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at AmritaIQ.
Sujoy?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at 9E3K. And you can follow Khandaan Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok at Khandaan Podcast.
Become a Patreon, support the show, and you can even pick a movie that we'll watch and discuss. Yeah, we're looking forward to the next few episodes we're doing. It's all gearing up to Path to Patan. We're super excited. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with a new episode soon.
Khandaan Podcast और एक्टिंग